a Russian aviation struck positions of its own armed forces, but then it says, the sources and ATESH agent from the ranks of the Russian armed forces informed us. So it's like, do we believe this? I do think this is a realistic scenario. On the night of February 16th to 17th, Chief of the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine announced the decision to withdraw Ukrainian troops, which was under threat of enemy encirclement. Later, the 3rd Separate Assault Brigade, whose soldiers covered the exit, stated that the critical moment had passed, but the operation to regroup forces still ongoing. And at this point, they accidentally bombed the artillery during this withdrawal. So the aviation regiment was basically there was a strike inflicted on positions occupied by artillery units of the 239. So you've got a scenario where you've got forces that are very close contact, close proximity. And we've seen this. I mean, we've seen this in Afghanistan. We've seen this in Iraq. Anytime you've got friendly forces in close proximity to enemy forces in a hectic environment with the fog of war, this sort of thing happens where you accidentally bomb, strike, whatever, a friendly position. And it sounds like that's what happened here. I mean, how many times have we heard that in previous conflicts, Gonky?
Oh, dude, blue on blue is real. I mean, I was actually a part of a blue on blue scenario. I don't know if I ever told you, Mover, but my flight lead made a mistake. We were taking out some guys in Afghanistan, and what he had done. So in the Hornet, if you go into the data sublevel, so he went into the data sublevel, went to his target waypoint, put the coordinates in for the target, stepped back out, and in the Hornet, when it steps back out, it takes you back to the waypoint that you had previously selected before you went into the data waypoint. So, which happened to be the friendly forces position, because they would always give you the friendly force position, even though they weren't supposed to. So you could use the FLIR, and then they would walk you, right? And, he he rolled in, and thankfully he didn't have many rounds left in the gun. We were strafing. And, that was bad. I mean, that was a long flight back to the boat. And like literally I forget the air wing that was there before us. They had a blue on blue incident where, unfortunately, in the one I was involved in, there was thankfully nobody was injured, but the carrier strike group that we relieved, they had a blue on blue where unfortunately some guys in the ground were killed, and it was they were doing strafing again, and we got to see the HUD tapes, and they're strafing one side of the river, and then for whatever reason he lines up on the wrong side and strafes the wrong side. And it's like you mentioned, it's the fog of war. And when hot lead starts going down range, DCS is fun in games, but in real life, like real people can get hurt. Even the guys and gals you're trying to help can get hurt. So don't sit there and think, oh, the Russians are just dumb, because it happens. It's happened in every conflict. So,
well, don't underestimate your enemy either. I mean,
100%, 100% can happen.
Mace, you got anything on the Russian friendly fire?
I mean, it seems like it probably is going to happen several times. Like, you think how easy it can happen to us with the level of training we have, the level of technology we have. Yeah. Now you take an older Russian jet, less well-trained pilot. Seems like it could very easily happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially in a scenario like this where because they were retreating, they were giving up the ground because they didn't want to be surrounded. They had taken the area, but then the areas around them were encircled with Russians. So the Ukrainians were like, we're backing out, because even though we captured this city, everything around us, they're just we're not going to have a way out if we don't leave now. And I think as they're leaving, you've got fog of war, late updates, intel maybe that's not, necessarily fast, and it's fast paced. And this, whoever this is probably trying to do the best they can with what they have, and this is an objective analysis. This is not, one side or the other, just looking at it from a fighter pilot's perspective. Because I don't think, regardless of your culture or country, you want to bomb your own people. typically it's frowned upon.
No.
To the gulag.